In this episode, we continue our Appalachian adventure. First, we'll drive from Staunton, Virginia to Rockfish Gap, then a short section of the Skyline Drive in Shenandoah National Park, and eventually Harpers Ferry, where the Lewis and Clark adventure of rediscovery will finally begin. And this is what happened. The United States Armory was in Harpers Ferry, so that's where Meriwether Lewis gathered many supplies, including an innovative collapsible boat for the epic journey to the west. We're also gonna hike up to the Maryland Overlook to see the town from a higher perspective. Then we're going back to our nation's capital for some fun at the wharf, some amazing Persian food at Amuse, and we'll find out there's more to DC than just monuments, museums, and government buildings. There's a whole city where people live and play.
I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah.
Well, good morning. Yeah, it was a beautiful day here in Virginia. Once again, we spent the night here at the brewery, at the Skippin' Rock Beer Company, and it was good. Here we're a residential neighborhood. It seems like they are getting ready for a brand new day here at the brewery, and I decided to wear my Lewis and Clark shirt because we are now in Lewis and Clark territory, right? At least in Meriwether Lewis territory. We may do a little bit of the Skyline Drive today. And then we'll go to Harpers Ferry, which is where Lewis actually purchased all his ammunition and other things that I'll tell you about later. Well, that was a successful and very pleasant Harvest Host.
Right onto Virginia 254 East.
Harvest Host experience. Now we have to go Walmart to resupply, and then Shenandoah National Park. Here we come. $433.9, not bad for this. Look at someone back there. For this area of Virginia, still hurts though. Let's see if we have enough room here to get out of this gas station. Yeah, we're fine. Let's drive through downtown Staunton here, which happens to be a very historic city, and the birthplace of Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States. I gotta say, it seems like it is going to be a pretty photogenic downtown, with some of these narrow streets. We should come back someday and explore more, but right now we're on a mission. I do like the architecture. Now let's find the way out of here. It's a giant watering can, and one of those underpasses that looks lower than they really are. I wanted to stop by the Rockfish Gap Visitor Center, but I think I made the wrong turn. Rockfish Gap, by the way, is the point where the Blue Ridge Parkway becomes the Skyline Drive at Shenandoah National Park. Well, several historical things have happened here, but here we go, in 1818. This is, by the way, Rockfish Gap. Well, I missed my exit by coming to this Vista Point, and now I think we have to backtrack like 10 miles. This is all right. We're not in any particular hurry today. We just want to make it to Harpers Ferry at some point before dark. I want to say thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this episode. And as you know, there are always new things to learn, even more so nowadays in our ever-changing and evolving world, right? And Skillshare is an online creative learning platform with thousands of classes for anyone who loves learning. And I've been using Skillshare for years now, improving certain skills, refining my craft, things like storytelling, social media, color grading, all aspects. And if there's a skill you'd like to learn, chances are they are going to have a class for it. For example, here we have portrait photography. Shoot and edit Instagram-worthy shots by photographer and YouTube superstar Jessica Kubisi. And as you know, my main thing is video, but still photography is also very important to create that eye-catching video thumbnail or promote the video on the community tab, Instagram or anywhere else. And I know many of these techniques would also come in handy for video, like lighting, composition. So check it out on Skillshare. Now the first 1,000 of my viewers to sign up through my link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So you can start exploring your creativity today. Here we have another scenic overlook. Let's go into Shenandoah National Park. Last time I did the Skyline Drive, it was so cloudy we couldn't see anything. But today, the weather conditions look so much better. We're only gonna do a little bit of the Skyline Drive here today. Not a whole lot because we're anxious to get to Harpers Ferry, our main destination today. Perhaps this fall we'll do the whole Skyline Drive once again. Alright, let's do one more overlook here. This one overlooking Mormons River. I think I prefer the views from the Blue Ridge Parkway, to be honest, but there are so many other things to do here at Shenandoah National Park. I remember the other time I was here, I hiked to a waterfall, and don't get me wrong, the views are good, but not Blue Ridge Parkway good, if you ask me. Perhaps they get better farther north, but we're not gonna get that far north. At least not on the Skyline Drive. We gotta take the faster route. And with that, we're leaving the Skyline Drive at Shenandoah National Park. We'll be back, I promise. Even though we're not on the Skyline Drive anymore, this is still a gorgeous drive. And at the same time, a much quicker bypass. This is Front Royal, the gateway to the north entrance to the Skyline Drive. Seems like a pretty cool town. We will revisit one of these days. Now we've only got 1 hour to go. Boom! West Virginia, Mountain Mama.
Welcome to West Virginia.
Oh, thank you. We're staying at the Harpers Ferry KOA, which is actually built over a battlefield. The back part, at least. I requested a satellite-friendly site so we can use Starlink, so we're going to be near the front of the campground, in the non-wooded area. Not the most picturesque, but we do need some internet to work this week. Let's go into town. Actually, the Harpers Ferry National Historical Park Visitor Center is right next to the campground, so we're going there first.
Oh my gosh! When was the last time you saw one of these? I wonder if they still take quarters, yeah. Anyway, let's go to the visitor center. We're here at Harpers Ferry, so let's check it out.
As is usually the case with the National Park Service, they do have a very detailed raised relief map depicting the town and lots of information. Even though there is a free shuttle that goes into town, and the ranger really discouraged us from parking downtown, citing price, availability, and the narrow, steep streets of Harpers Ferry, it is us we're talking about, so we're going to go into downtown with the car and find parking because that's how we do it. It is one of the most picturesque towns I've ever seen. And having all these hills and multiple levels definitely enhances the experience. We don't have a whole lot of time today, but let's try to do as much as possible this afternoon. The whole center of town is like a national park, by the way. And I see parking with my name on it. And they use the Park mobile app, so that's just perfect.
Well, here we are. We've made it to Harpers Ferry. And first point of interest, before we forget, let's see the Meriwether Lewis site here.
Here we go. There's a small museum. I see a picture of Thomas Jefferson and Meriwether Lewis, so we are in the right place.
One of the innovations of the Lewis and Clark trip was this boat called the Experiment. And what it was a collapsible boat, and this is, one of the part of the frame of that boat. And then they would cover it with skin, like buffalo skin and whatnot, and it was very lightweight to transport. And they would assemble it on the other side of the mountains. Unfortunately, the boat, while it floated for a few minutes, began to leak and began to sink, so it didn't work.
If this is your first episode in this series, the whole idea is to follow in Lewis and Clark's footsteps, retrace their expedition, if you will, all the way to the Pacific. And this would be the first point of interest in that whole trip. Here are some of the supplies Meriwether Lewis would have purchased here in town.
It's a bullet mold, one of the many tools they took.
Yeah, being out there beyond the frontier, they would have had to make their own bullets and fix and build many things.
Well, this was the National Armory and Arsenal at the time.
You like the war stuff?
This is the map of the United States.
Yeah, I just want the money.
As the day comes to an end, the town begins to die down.
Well, the first time I came here a couple of years ago, I thought this was like a real tavern. I came all the way here. I almost asked for an IPA, and then I realized that it's a historical tavern from the 1850s.
Oh, if these walls could talk. If we could be a fly on the wall and hear the conversations of the era, huh? Oysters and lunches. Anyway, for a little context, in 1803, President Thomas Jefferson purchased the Louisiana from the French for $15 million, which pretty much meant everything between the Mississippi River and the Rocky Mountains. That same year, he sent Lewis and Clark on an expedition to find a route to the Pacific, up the Missouri, over the Rockies and down the Columbia, all the way to the ocean. And as I said, for the next few months, it is our intention to follow in their footsteps. We're going to make a few detours here and there to make it more interesting or explore other things along the way, like here, at the confluence of the Potomac and the Shenandoah. This is the psychological halfway point of the Appalachian Trail, for those brave souls who dare a through hike. And there's the sign to prove it. Not exactly the halfway point, but for a through hiker, I think that's close enough. And that down there would be a replica of Lewis's experimental boat. Apparently, there was something Lewis did not anticipate, and that was the lack of pine trees at the place where they intended to use it. The idea would have been to use pine tar to paint the seams in the leather covering, and that actually may have been the cause of its failure. The available cottonwood just didn't do the trick. Let's go down to the confluence once again.
And this would be the confluence of the Potomac and the Shenandoah. Do I got those right? No, the other way around. Shenandoah and the Potomac, they both become the Potomac. And that bridge, that railroad bridge, is the Appalachian Trail. We're gonna do a little bit of that tomorrow, and then I'm gonna do the Maryland Heights Trail, which goes somewhere up there, where you get, commanding view of Harpers Ferry. Ever since the first time I came to this town, I really liked all the history and the way it looks. It's a good looking town. And little known fact, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the lowest point in the whole state of West Virginia.
This is the brick firehouse where abolitionist John Brown barricaded himself during the 1859 Harpers Ferry raid. Let's sample a Seneca IPA from Mountain State Brewing Company here at the Coach House as we continue exploring the old town. Maybe tomorrow we'll eat up there. Now, let's continue. Let's go to the upper part of town. It is so picturesque, so photogenic as we go up this hill. Here to the left is the Appalachian Trail Conservancy Center, and we're going to make a left to go to Anthony Hall. Almost everywhere you look, there's yet another one of those brown signs about another historic site. So much has transpired in this town over the centuries.
Yeah, we're standing near what was once an international border. The park to your left lay within the Union State of Maryland. Loudoun Heights to the right was claimed by the Confederacy. Camp Hill. We are here. Independent Order of Odd Fellows. Yeah, and this is marked by blue blazes. So this will be a detour trail. I forget what they call it, like a spur trail from the Appalachian Trail. And well, you know what? We're gonna go have some dinner, and tomorrow we'll continue exploring. But yeah, that lying over there, that hill over there behind, that would have been part of the Confederate States of America, and here where we are would have been part of the Union. Fascinating. Both Union and Confederate armies used the field in front of you as a campground and training field at different times during the war. Well, as I've said, I think we've done a lot with the allotted time here. We just arrived here a couple hours ago. Now we're gonna have dinner. The touristy area down there doesn't seem to be like a nightlife kind of part of town, so we're gonna go to there's a tavern right next to the KOA, and that's where we're gonna go. And then tomorrow we're gonna go for a little hike.
It is called the White Horse Tavern, so let's check it out. It is very nice, but we moved to the bar because our server didn't know what an IPA was.
Cheers.
It's a brand new day, and today we're taking the shuttle to the Old Town because today we're on a mission, and that is hiking to the Maryland Heights Overlook, which is about 4.5 miles, so that's going to take about 3 hours, at least. Right and early, this town seems to be deserted. Took the first shuttle, the 9 a.m. shuttle, into the lower historic area, and now we're gonna go for a little hike. We might go up there first. It is so great to walk along the nearly deserted streets in the morning. It's almost like being transported back in time.
Before we do the Maryland Heights trail, I want to go to the Jefferson Rock, which is the place where he actually said a famous phrase. This town is deserted. I thought I could have parked right there. I mean, it cost money to park, but I mean, the shuttle was fine. And this right here would be a part of the Appalachian Trail, or Appalachian Trail, depends who you ask. So we're gonna go up these stairs. Oh, you can tell these stairs have been here for a very long time.
Up and up we go towards the St. Peter's Roman Catholic Church. It is such a beautiful day, with all the birds chirping. Perfect hiking weather.
The St. Pete Roman Catholic Church. It is closed, so let's continue. Oh, very hilly town. I'm already out of breath. Anyway, let's go up to Jefferson's Rock. Should be just a few more feet that way.
Here we have the ruins of St. John's Episcopal Church, which functioned as a hospital and barracks during the Civil War. The building was damaged during the war, but even though it was later rebuilt, it was eventually abandoned in 1895. This is it, Jefferson's Rock. He's been quoted as saying, "The view from here would be worth a voyage across the Atlantic." I guess this is the view, or the scene as he would have put it. The gorgeous sight of the Shenandoah and the Potomac coming together, merging at this confluence.
It is a very nice view, but worth crossing the Atlantic? I don't know.
Is that the bridge we're going to cross by foot? I think so.
I did forget to bring one important thing, and hopefully it won't be an issue. When it gets hotter, I forgot to bring bug spray. There's always something. We did see this the last time I was here. Yeah, this is actually my second time in Harpers Ferry, and the first time I just fell in love with the town. It's so picturesque. And for the second time, to go to Maryland Heights, which is somewhere up there on that mountain, on that hill. So we begin. Well, I see some other people doing at least this part of the trail, so hopefully I won't be all by myself on the mountain. it's always good, to have people around. And this is the point where the Shenandoah meets the Potomac, as we saw it yesterday, but today we have different light, and besides, there's no one here.
That's the footbridge we're about to take.
Walking on the old railroad bridge, and it goes into a tunnel. I believe the tunnel is the AT, and then we're just gonna make a left, but I'm not sure. Or maybe we don't go into the tunnel.
These are the remnants of an old bridge. Two of them, actually. And I believe that those old bridges have been destroyed and rebuilt several times over the course of history.
Yeah, I guess we're not going into the tunnel. I should have brought a hat. It's sunny today. I did bring my hiking shoes. There we go, that would be Appalachian Trail North, which we're not gonna do. Maryland Heights.
This is the C&O Canal towpath, which runs 184 miles along the old C&O Canal between Georgetown and Cumberland, Maryland. It was originally built for mules to walk beside the canal as they towed boats through the waterway.
Cool. Harpers Ferry, 1898.
Here's looking back towards present-day Harpers Ferry. There are islands in the stream of the Great Potomac River.
By the way, so far we've had perfect hiking weather. It's probably in the 60s right now, high 60s. This feels warm in the sun, but in the shade it's very comfortable. Low humidity. Beautiful Potomac River. I know that'll change. It's gonna get warm as the day progresses. So far, no bugs, so that's a good thing too.
Look at the mighty Potomac. I had no idea it was going to be this beautiful from this side. The C&O Canal towpath, by the way, something I knew nothing about. Now I feel like hiking or biking a section of it.
There we go, we even have a sign.
Now for the fun part. It is going to be mostly uphill from here on.
Okay, so this is where you would pay. They have an honor system, pay system here, and pass holders display signature, side of pass. In rear view mirror, well, I took the shuttle, so we should be fine.
Beautiful views from the trail, looking across the Potomac River.
I know the views from the top are gonna be much better, but I can't help but, try to take in some of the views from down here. Whenever I see, a clearing.
Let me tell you, if anything, it is a beautiful walk in the woods.
Oh man, it is getting steeper. A little steeper in this part. There's a woodpecker. Here we have a fork on the road, bifurcation. I think I'm gonna go right to the naval battery here. We're starting to level off here, so that's a good thing.
Here we have a clearing, and this has got to be that naval battery overlook. Here we have a little bit of a view, kind of, sort of. Actually, there's a cemetery down there. That's gotta be the Harpers Cemetery. Oh, there's a little more of a view of the town from this vantage point.
Here we rejoin the main trail. By the way, the bugs are waking up, but it's just those tiny little ones that don't really do anything. They don't bite or anything, so far so good. You just can't stand still. If you stand still, they start swarming you, which is uncomfortable. And here's another fork on the road. That one would go to the Stone Fort Trail. And then Maryland Heights is that way. I believe we're almost at the highest point right now, according to the map. Let's see where we are. Yeah, topographically this should be the highest point, and then we go downhill again, right?
We are now on that final stretch, going down to the Overlook. We are almost there. I see a lot more people on the trail now.
Yeah, it's kind of crowded up here.
I think I see one of the bridges down there, and let me tell you, I love almost any hike, but it is so much better, so much more rewarding when you get a big payoff at the end. Like this view of the old town from up here.
Well, there it is, the reward at the end of the hike.
I think I'm going to spend a few moments here, taking the views, and then we'll begin the return hike.
I like it's like you squeezed everything out of me. I wasn't even like trying.
Shenandoah River, the historic Harpers Ferry downtown, the mighty Potomac. I will enjoy the moment.
We can almost see everything from here, the whole town. It is very cool to see it from this vantage point. Here's a great view looking up the Potomac. There, the old town, once again, and the Harpers Cemetery. And that seems to be Bolivar Heights, the site of the famous Battle of Harpers Ferry. Makes you wonder what it would have looked like from up here. Well, I'm so glad we did this hike.
There's my ride. There's my ride back, although I might walk.
Yep, there's the shuttle. There it goes. It is gonna take me a while to get back down there. And that's the church. It seems to be open now. And there's the rabbit hole. We might go there to eat later this afternoon. Here comes the train. And let me tell you, I could be sitting up here for hours, contemplating the scenery, scrutinizing every nook and cranny of the town with my zoom lens. But it is time to go.
Alright, so now let's find that trail going back. It's gonna be up and up for a little bit and then down most of the way, so looking forward to that down. Now we're gonna go the other way since we already saw that battery, the naval battery down there. We've conquered Maryland Heights Trail.
Check out that bird. This part of the hike, very pleasant, as we are now on the C&O Canal, by lock number 33 to be exact. Now we're gonna get back on that bridge. Wouldn't it be cool if a train just came rushing by right now?
We were somewhere up there.
Almost done. This has been a very, very rewarding trail. Probably one of the most rewarding trails I've done in a while. Yeah, this is their version of love locks. Right here on the bridge. Combination lock, just in case you change your mind. Just kidding.
Oh, look at that! It looks like I'm getting my wish. There's a train coming. Oh my gosh. The whole bridge is shaking. Check it out. That's where we were. All the way up there.
Let me tell you, that whole bridge was shaking. Such a cool timing that a train happened to come through. Exactly at the time that doing that section of the Appalachian Trail, really.
Yeah, I know. That noise, very annoying. But I wanted for you to get the whole experience, you know?
Just went under it.
And the town is now bustling with activity, so I'm going to take the shuttle back to the camper, and then we'll come back for a late lunch or maybe early dinner.
Well, what better way to end our hike than with a celebratory IPA, and I thought this one would be appropriate. Trail Mojo, we picked this one up in Boone, North Carolina, from Boonshine Brewing Company. So, cheers.
So we decided to come by the Appalachian Trail Conservancy Visitor Center. They used to have t-shirts and other souvenirs, so let's see what they have.
Here we are, the AT Conservancy.
Well, they do have a map and nice pictures, but no souvenirs. Let's go get some lunch.
Riding my RV.
We're gonna go up there. We're gonna have to go up these stairs.
Yeah, we're going to the rabbit hole. From our table, we can see the Maryland Heights, just like we could see this place from up there.
Here we go, IPA with a view. Cheers. Philly's fish and chips and my Philly cheesesteak. Bon appetit. That's no good. What was there?
Tell you what, I think I'm gonna save Washington, D.C. for the next episode. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road.
I'm riding in my